Friends, today I want to talk about something less fun, less delightful, less joy-inducing, is finding those moments of brightness when you struggle. Part of the reality of being human, of living in this world, is that not everything goes beautifully as planned, as you want it to, and sometimes you have to live through struggles and trials and deep tragedy. We're going to get back to this in a second, but I'm going to share a piece of scripture with you that helps me think about this. This comes from 2 Corinthians. Actually, 1 Corinthians, the second chapter. When I came to you, brothers and sisters, I did not come proclaiming the mystery of God to you in lofty words or wisdom. For I decided to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ, him crucified. And I came to you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. My speech and proclamation were not with plausible words of wisdom, but with the demonstration of the Spirit and power, so that your faith might rest not on human wisdom, but on the power of God. Our human wisdom some days tells us that things will never get better. It's always going to be bad and hard and awful. And God's wisdom and the life-giving abundance of Christ says it doesn't always last. As the Psalms say, joy comes in the morning. The reality is, in the midst of struggle, in the midst of dark times, in the midst of times where you say, it's always going to be bad, if you open your eyes and heart and look to the people that God has put in your path, to the good creation that surrounds you, there are moments of joy, even in the midst of the struggle, even in the midst of the anguish. Weeds sprout up in gardens. No matter how well you care for them, they grow. And if you don't watch out for those weeds, they will choke off the beauty that you have planted. Many a garden has succumbed to that I'll weed tomorrow mentality, and you come back a week later after skipping it, and everything's being choked. All the nutrients being stolen by these weeds, these things that steal the nutrients. And the same is true in our lives. If we don't tend to that garden and take care of those weeds, if we don't take time to appreciate the beauty in the midst of the struggle, if we don't take time, we can live in our life and say that everything is bad. Nothing will ever be good again. But I'm here to tell you, that's human wisdom. That's what the world tells you. You need this next thing so that everything will be good. If you just buy this or have this or wear this, things will get better. And God says the opposite. God says, my grace is sufficient. My love is enough. There are angels that surround you whether you know them or not. And sometimes you need a little nudge to see that light in the darkness, to be reminded of the goodness around you. Sometimes you need to see that little bud on the tomato plant, that little yellow flower starting to ripen, to get ready to produce fruit, to remind you that working through the weeds is worth it, that the hard work it takes to get to that final product is worth it. Hope you were encouraged and reminded how loved you are, and despite how bad things may be, you are loved, you are cared about, and you matter no matter what. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share